David Lammy, on the other hand, has finally been arrested for his crimes, but not the ones that...
Thank God.
Yeah, he's going to like Belmarsh or whatever, but not for anything, about the genocide, but for the far more heinous crime of fishing without a license.
It's a very serious thing. I almost got done for that as well.
Are there like special cops for that? Are there like fisheries like enforcement guys?
No, there's just like snitches, and so I had like I went fishing, and like where I used to live, there's like this little there's no fish in there because it's like polluted like fucking Thames water, right?
You have to have a license to fish unsuccessfully in this country.
But I've got like my rod there. Like some guy like comes up to me and he's just like literally says, "Oh, have you got a license?" So I was like, "What do you mean? Have you got a license?" Like, "Oh, you have to have a license." Go fishing.
Someone comes up to you and you're like, "Are you doing the bit from my show that we do?"
Are you doing a bit
license?
Have you recognized me and you've thought of this as a funny thing to do, or am I fucked?
But then he like legit shows me his license, and I was like, "Oh, okay, fair fucks. I don't actually have one." And he was like, "Yeah, don't worry about. Well, there's not really any fish here anyway." So then he just sort of tells me that like he's here because like it's the only place that he's able to like get away from his wife. And I hear this thing like for like a solid half an hour, I think at least, about how like
fucking hell,
like him and his wife, they were like so much in love, and then things drifted away.
Jesus, talk about a captive audience. Like you're not wading away from that conversation. I
think it's funny to establish that you are breaking the law, and then he's got you, and he can talk about his wife for as long as possible. Well, in the same way that like they get like nonces on TikTok, and then just like hold them there, and like, are you gonna run away, or are you gonna let us do bits at you for like 25 minutes? And they're like, "You can do bits at me, okay."
I do enjoy those parts of the video where like they're waiting for the policeman, they're waiting for the police officer to come, and like obviously like police officers take fucking ages to go anywhere. So it's like, okay, what do you do for the next half an hour while you are live streaming your pedo watching thing?
Yeah, you make him do a minute silence.
Yeah, you do have.
You still got another 20 minutes at that point. It's worse than getting to the fucking airport early. You're just stuck with this guy.
You're just having to think of things to do minute silences for, just to run the clock out.
Different wars.
Like, bin man, I don't know.
Korea. No one remembers that one.
That's right.
So David Lammy, our foreign secretary, has been trying to do, because JD Vance is on vacation. It's vacation season. He's on vacation in the Cotswolds and has now come up to Scotland. I know. And as part of our kind of national strategy of dealing with Trump, of like maximum bootlick, kind of getting as obsequious with it as possible, we've genuinely tried to essentially like ingratiate ourselves, right? Like, and so Lammy's the kind of point man on this. And his way of doing this is to become BFFs with Vance by going fishing together, I guess. And someone pointed out that, oh, hey, you actually do need the license to do this, which is insane.
Well, that's his fault because he refused to talk to the guy about his wife and his marital issues.
What do you think JD was talking about? You think Usher is happy? Like, I'm sorry. David Lammy just sitting there trying to get away.
Oh my God.
The other part of the story, and I imagine this is like why we were talking about Tom Skinner at the upset, is because Tom Skinner like came to the Cotswolds to hang out with JD Vance. And the question I immediately had when I heard this news was, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall when Tom Skinner introduced himself to JD Vance's wife, right? Because both JD Vance and his wife are like snobs. They are like, and their whole personality is like, I went to Yale Law. Genuinely, this was a thing. Like, if you look at like a lot of JD, like the whole like hillbilly elegy thing, and I hadn't read the book and I have no plan to, but I did like see the film like many years ago. And obviously the premise is very much just, and like the film, I think from what I've heard, is even worse because the whole thing is like, he's struggling to get away from like, his community that like lack sort of lack standards and sort of like lack the value of education. And like Yale is the place where like, he finds the freedom. And so much of it is just like Yale, 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 Yale. And someone like the JD Vance Law, which is, his mentor / main teacher at Yale was Amy Chua.
Yeah, the Tiger Mum. I remember her.
The Tiger Mum who like the book The Tiger Mum sort of made everyone sort of forget that she was also like one of the sort of neoliberal advocates, real ghoul as well, like very much like sort of like forever war supporter. A lot of her writings are very much about like in defense of American imperialism and everything. So she's teaching him and also influencing him at Yale Law, all of which is to say that Yale and like that whole legacy is so important to that family.
And then at the end of that, we've brought you this oath. We have brought you one of our treasured oaths. This is the finest like cultural figure of our country, and you just hear a distant bosh.
Yeah, check this guy out. He says bosh. Is that like, that's what we've got?
A slowly approaching bosh, cresting a hill. Bosh.
And I can't, and I can't do accents, but I really wanted it to be a fly on the wall when Tom Skinner introduces himself to Usha. I thought that would just be amazing.
Well, here's the thing as well, is that like I swore some time ago that I would never feel sorry for for someone who was like that complicit in genocide, but I do feel sorry for David Lammy in the sense that he has been ordered to stand.
No, I don't.
Stand thigh deep in like a kind of alarmingly warm English pond, standing next to
it's full of shit as well. You know it.
Oh, of course. Turds floating by, talking to JD Vance and Tom Skinner.
God, yeah, no good at all. Speaking of Vance in the Cotswolds, did you see that the US Secret Service was just knocking on people's doors that lived near where JD was staying to ask them for their social media handles?
Yeah, it's illegal to at him.
Man.
It's
amazing.
You can only have posted, like, if you've posted one of those like sort of like wide JD Vance memes, they'll kill you. They'll like fly a drone through your chimney. But so this is the thing, right? The Cotswolds is now completely locked down everywhere in Britain. Like free speech is completely compromised, and this means that we live in a kind of police state that is going to be chiefly familiar to those of our listeners in Washington D.C. Because I hear that the fascism has again taken an alarmingly impulsive lurch when Edward Korestein, aka Big Balls, aka man with a name like a really bad scanlation of a Constantine comic, was carjacked in DC or allegedly carjacked, and Trump was like, it is now time to federalize all of DC. And so they've got these like federal agents. They've got like the FBI and the ATF just kind of walking around.
It's going to be so good for American children in like 100 years to hear that the next Reichstag fire was like they carjacked Big Balls. And that was when it just started going.
Yeah.
What are we doing, man?
I mean, this is the thing. This is why you've got to know not to carjack Big Balls. I mean, it's just really, really strange. And particularly now, it's kind of like, as with the Los Angeles National Guard thing, right? Like the stuff that they want to do is obviously extremely bad and they can do a lot of it, but at some level it kind of has to intersect with reality, right? And if you're going to send a bunch of guys in like tactical vests to like walk around like DuPont Circle or whatever the fuck, I'm going off of Fallout 3 geography here, don't get mad at me. But if you're like sending those people to walk around looking for like MS-13 or like the guys who I assume like tortured Big Balls to death, right? He's not just fine, he didn't get over it. They're not gonna fucking find anything because that shit isn't happening. Like,
well, I mean, immediately as of time of recording, and so I guess on day of release tomorrow, Mayor Muriel Bowser is collaborating with the Trump administration on a homeless encampment clearance. So that'll be fun. That's great. This is exactly why your fucking city got occupied, Muriel, is because you were like obeying in advance to this guy and you're just doing it again now. Like,
something particular about American mayors is that they always have an anti-homeless thing that they are like have in the chamber ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like after a couple of days of it becoming obvious that there was nothing for these guys to do, it's like, oh, I can just use them for my thing, which I was very keen on anyway, which is to just kind of like force every homeless person outside of town. There's also kind of was one of the things that prompted it from Trump is he saw some homeless people out of his motorcade on his way to a golf course and was like, all right, martial law, I guess.
We gotta deal with this.
Genuinely,
just disgusting.
Offensively stupid, apart from anything else. But yeah, so obviously we look forward to DC being liberated from the kind of tyranny of guys just wandering around, shining flashlights at stuff and not finding anything. And likewise, also the Cotswolds. There was some like lions led by donkeys type shit. Not lions led by donkeys. That's a good podcast. There was some led by
Joe Kasabian did some bullshit.
Joe Kasabian did some. There was some led by donkey shit happening in the Cotswolds where, I don't know if you saw this, they had a van with like screens on every surface.
Oh, fuck, I didn't see this.
Showing the like bald wide JD Vance meme just driving around the Cotswolds.
All right.
And I'm like,
I would think that was Reddit shit if it wasn't 100% clear that does bother him.
Oh yeah,
like,
he's
massively.
online, he's seen it, it's being posted in the Discord group full of 19-year-olds he's in, and he is going to try and ban you from entering the US if you have that image saved on your phone. So yeah, this is all apt, you know.
I think I do have it on my phone.
Yeah, sorry, they're gonna go through it, they're gonna check, you know, they're just gonna ask you, instead of like, you know, drawing a clock for neurological injury, they're gonna ask you to draw a JD Vance. And if the JD Vance looks fucked up in any way, like you've seen one of those in your life, then you go straight to
I
psychops.
don't remember what a real JD Vance looks like.